Welcome everybody to Zero to Income. We're glad to have you here. I'm Sean. I'm here with Dana, and we're helping you get your businesses started.
We want to help you move from financial dependence to financial freedom.
From dreaming to achieving.
From blindly following the masses to being an independent thinker.
From zero to income.
All right, this is Dana Morrison and Sean Elliott back here again with Zero to Income. We're really excited to bring you an episode today that revolves around the idea of websites and platforms and what to use when. And we're going to dig into a little bit of nitty gritty, but we're also going to set some very basic, this is, we want to keep it stinking easy for you people, right? That's the goal. How do we keep it stinking easy? Because we can get all caught up in websites and different platforms and different systems, and some of them are cheap and some of them are expensive. And just because something's expensive doesn't mean that you need it. So there's a lot of different application for a lot of different sites for a lot of different product. So we want to always be making sure that we're using the right tool at the right time. And resident expert on this topic is Sean Elliott, because Sean's dug into a lot of, I've got a lot of experience in it, but man, Sean, you've dug into a lot of these different systems.
I've done my share, that's for sure, and there's a lot of folks out there who are using Kajabi, and it's a great platform. And that's one that if you're open to getting something that's more on the higher end and or have the pockets or the financing to purchase something like that, you can go with Kajabi. And then you have the opposite end of the spectrum where you can use something like System or Podia that have free plans, completely free. So, when you're starting off, that's a great option. And then, of course, there's options for people that really, really want to be able to have the ultimate control. And what are we talking about here? We're talking about WordPress. So there's lots of ways to skin a cat, when it comes to the platforms that you want to use for your business.
ClickFunnels.
Yep. ClickFunnels. Yep. I don't have much experience with ClickFunnels, but I have worked with Kajabi. I've worked with Podia. I've worked with System. I've worked with WordPress. There's one out there called ClickSlow that I've done. ClickSlow is CLIXO.
ClickSlow. Teachable. There's another one for content management systems. Teachable.
Yep.
And there's a lot of other LMS, learning management systems, content management systems. So LMS, if you hear LMS, it means learning management system. That means like a classroom kind of experience, teacher to student, a CMS, content management system. But really, before we even kind of like dive into any of this, what is a platform? What makes a platform? I mean, that's a question that is like, okay, well, we talk about all these things like they're platforms, and there's what eDirectory is a platform. eDirectory is what I've got Main Vacations on, and mainvacations.com, and it's built on this platform that's a directory system. It's not like a normal like sales system as we would think of one. It's for people to be able to subscribe, to be able to put their businesses on a website, but that's a platform.
Yeah.
Kajabi is a platform. All of these things are platforms. Where it breaks down to like, because we talk about, well, what's a platform versus a not platform? Well, something that's not a platform is probably building out a web page in HTML and it's static, and you're gonna just basically put it on a website, and it's not going to do anything, interact with anything, and not. The content's not going to get updated automatically or anything, right?
Yeah.
Only when you interact with it is the content going to change. And I would say that's pretty static.
And it's going to be rare that you find something that's not a platform. I'm kind of looking at people that go and get a website on GoDaddy and use their website builder. That website builder, you might think that's a platform, but it's really in the background, it's just doing HTML, which, these platforms are doing. But as far as getting down to what is not a platform, that would be kind of I think a good example of something that's going to be more just straight HTML versus something that's a CMS, like a WordPress. But even these Kajabis and all that, I'm sure that they've got some WordPressy type features going on in the back end. I'm sure they're running, by databases in the background.
Right. So we don't lose you people out there that are struggling with the alphabet soup we're throwing out there right now. Let's take a step backwards, more toward the beginning, because what has happened is in various strategies to help fire up your business and various programs. So you might pay for a program, or you might find free information online to help you start your business. It doesn't matter how you get started or where the information come from. That's irrelevant to the conversation. The problem is that as a business person, as an entrepreneur, a wantrepreneur, right? As you're thinking about starting your business and you want to get started, there's a real danger in going to find a platform before you even understand your product or your customer. And if you remember a couple episodes ago, if you haven't listened to it, you really need to listen to it. It's about getting your idea started. So we've jumped ahead some here, and we're kind of talking about the nuts and bolts, the gears in the middle that make this stuff work, right? So if you have a light bulb, think of a light bulb as being your idea, and then you're packaging your idea in some sort of a box and putting a dollar sign on it, right? And people can buy that. And you've got some sort of a lead magnet that you've built. Well, now you need a place to be able to put those things together, right? To assemble them. And that's when we start talking about platforms and systems. And then after that, you've built your website out, and you've got, then it's time to start talking about marketing and all of that. But don't do that prematurely. Let's go back. You've got an idea. This is what we're talking about here, assumes that you know what you're going to sell. You've got to know that before you're going any further. And you kind of have an idea probably of maybe you're going to do a PDF lead magnet, or you're going to do maybe it's a podcast, a special recording podcast, something like that, or a webinar, something like that. Could be a
series of videos.
Could be a series of videos, which could literally be out in YouTube land that are unlisted. So in order to be on the inside track, they got to be able to get the link, right? So you know what your idea is, and you kind of have an idea for your lead magnet, and you're kind of formulating your product. If you haven't done any of that, then this is premature for you to be thinking about platforms. And part of the reasoning behind doing this episode right now, throwing it out here at the front line, is so that you know that, and you understand some differences between different platforms. Do not make the decision right now and say, oh, well, they talked about Kajabi, or they talked about System, or they talked about Podia. That's what I need. I'm going to go get it. Stop. Don't do it. Just stop.
Yeah. You mentioned, a lot of it depends on, what idea you have, what your product is. It could be, Dana and I are coming from a background and a focus where we're going to be teaching people. We're going to be guiding people. But you might have a different business plan, and it might be a product. Maybe you're selling clothes. Maybe you're selling, again, a physical product. You're selling pens. Using something like Kajabi or Podia to sell a physical product might not be the best platform. Maybe you want to look at something like Shopify that's designed for e-commerce and for delivering a product to somebody's home. And so that's where, Dana is really talking about, let's focus on that light bulb, the idea, and then, find out, if one platform or the other is going to be best for delivering that particular product or service.
Yeah. And so let's break down some of those products or services to what they might be. So for one, a person can have a physical product, right? So examples of physical products, just like Sean was just talking about, could be pens, could be you make some widget. Maybe you're a carpenter and you make desks, and you're fine craftsman and you make desks, and you sell desks, and you physically ship desks, and that's what you do. What you select for a platform like that is going to be way different than if you sell online courses.
Yep.
Yeah. So you've got physical product. That's one option. I'm kind of jotting these down as we talk about them a little bit, just so I kind of remember what we've covered.
Another physical product that can kind of also go into the digital kind of realm is, if you're a writer and you're writing a book, there's again, going back to the platforms of, hey, there's Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP. There's, what is it, Zuma or Luma?
Lulu?
Lulu. There's Lulu, which is also another platform where you can go and get your writing books out to people, and so that's another kind of option. It's kind of running the what's the word? You're walking on the edge there between a physical product and a digital product. You can do either,
and it can be both, right? Because it can be an ebook, and at the same time, you can have a print copy available. And when you think about books, you think, well, you can go out and you can buy, or you can develop your book in Kindle. Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP, kdp.amazon.com, right? I think that's the link.
Yep.
And Lulu, I can't talk. Lulu.com, LULU.com is another one. And the cool thing about those platforms is that you're able to list your book amongst a lot of other books that are already out there for sale. And it's low infrastructure. Like, you didn't have to do anything additional, and you can get started actually for free. Now, KDP is going to take out a bigger percentage, and it's going to be way cheaper for you to just buy author copies and ship them yourselves. However, if you don't want to take that risk and you're trying to test your book in the market to find out if it will sell, guess what? Super, super easy. Lulu the same way, and you can share people the link to the Lulu product, and you can also very easily make hardcovers, soft covers, subtle stitch, paperbacks, all that stuff, right? So spiral bound on Lulu as well. I actually just did one in spiral bound today, Sean.
Nice.
Literally took less than 30 minutes to set it up.
So, that's crazy.
I love it. It's all good stuff. All right.
And they have a whole bookstore on Lulu. Shop our bookstore.
Yeah, you can put stuff out into global marketing too. Global stores. So books is, let's just call books its own kind of genre of product, right? And that whether they're ebooks or print books, it's kind of its own thing, right? So we've got books, we've got other physical products. Books are physical, but you understand what I'm saying? Print, copyright, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, what other kinds of products do we have? We've got courses.
What's that?
Courses.
Yeah, I was just thinking we've got the courses, the online courses. We've got again, digital type products, whether those are going to be, again, books are going to be one type of digital product that you could do, but you could also do, a lot of people are on Etsy selling things like Photoshop templates or Cricut, is it? Templates.
Cricut? Is that Cricut? I think it's Cricut.
Is it Cricut? Cricut?
I think that's how they say it.
Yeah, Cricut templates. So you can sell things like that. What's the word I'm looking for? Also, icon templates. If you're building a website, so those are things you could sell digitally. Another type of product again is business coaching or coaching. It's an actual coaching where people sign up and schedule appointments for you. That's technically a product. And again, certain platforms are going to lend themselves better to that type of product versus, what we just came up with the course. There's some that will do both, but some will do one or the other better.
Right. Yeah. So another one is a social aspect, and we call those membership sites online communities, right?
Yep. You've got something like Circles, which is, their whole focus of Circles. I think it's Circles.io is that community feature, kind of Facebook-ish type community.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about them. That's another one really specific to like the membership and social aspects. So the like ebooks really kind of falls into the digital product more than the books product. So let's just call that part of the digital suite of products, because you can have ebooks, you can have other digital content. Like my son does 3D art and all that sort of stuff. Well, that could be that would be a digital product. Like if he was doing, he can do like couches and different things that people can put into their 3D animations, and they just kind of like drag them and drop them in there, Sean. So he does that sort of stuff, and that would be a digital product. That
Music.
Oh my goodness, music. Yeah, sure. Music.
Yeah, music.
Ebooks, music, anything that you're going to deliver via email or a download link. Let's call that world there.
Yeah.
Now, ebooks kind of fits in a couple because you
Mhm.
can sell them through Amazon for Kindle and all of that, and that's kind of like its own thing. You
Yeah.
can do PDFs and all of that, and Kindle, like you can open up PDFs on Kindle, right?
Yep.
So some people sell them that way as well, but like Kindle's an ecosystem. It's kind
Yeah.
of like Amazon's kind of got their own ecosystem of products, right? So it's kind of like an ecosystem, but we've got physical products, we've got book products, kind of separated them out.
Yep.
Courses, coaching, online communities, social products,
Yep.
and digital products
Yep.
is what we've got 6 different kinds of products right now. We missing anything obvious?
Got the community. I was just wondering about that as well. Are we missing anything that's obvious?
Somebody's gonna leave something, a message to us and say, hey, you guys didn't mention. Yeah.
I was just thinking the same thing. Someone's going to be commenting stuff, and that's okay. You know, if we're missing anything
Yeah.
at all, folks,
Tell us.
jump on there in the comments and
That's
let us
right.
know. Let everybody else know.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning of the process for a minute. So I'm working on an idea, and my idea is going to revolve around selling a book. I make journals for people that want to study scripture, and they can buy one of these journals, and they can come back 6 months later and they can buy another one. And I have options for different platforms, but I can also sell author copies. So I might in the future say, okay, well, I want to be able to buy 100 on Amazon because I can get them really cheap on Amazon. The author copies are really inexpensive. They're less expensive than Lulu for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I can buy a bunch of those copies and I can say, well, I'm just going to leave them here. And then when an order comes in, I'm just going to ship them out of my house. Or I can also connect systems on the back end to say, well, somebody orders one and it does something digitally where Lulu ends up sending it out for me. That's also an option too. But let's say I want to have some flexibility in selling my physical product, and that's what I'm doing. Let's say that is my business. Let's say I've already got my book. I've already got 3 of these created, Sean. So I've got a little 10-day one, and I've got another one that's 100-day journal, and I've got a hardcover journal that is 160 days. So I have these 3 journals, and I'm ready to roll. What do you tell somebody like me that's got like, okay, I've got this physical product, and I mean, I don't have copies in my hands, but I can order them now and have them anytime I want now. Where does a person like me think about like the next step of the process?
Well, I think the next step of the process, there's a couple of things that come into mind as far as getting that out. If it's on something like Amazon, that's it can be more of a print on demand where, you know, when they order it, Amazon's going to ship it to them. You don't have to have it in your garage. You don't have to have Amazon send you 100 copies and then you ship it to the
Which is
customer.
investment too, right?
And that's an investment, you know, yeah, exactly. And so I guess that's one of the questions that comes into play here is how much control do I want to have in this versus how much hands-off automation do I want to have? Now, if you're buying them, and again, it's going to cost you more money up front, and you're having them shipped to your house, you're going to have typically a lot more control over that. Chances are you can get bulk pricing. And then once they're in your hands, you can charge whatever you want. You know, it's not going to be a set price on Amazon, which again, you can change your price on Amazon, but you know, just a little bit more.
And Amazon, I think takes out something like 60%.
Yeah,
it's not little, people.
It's not. Yeah, it's not little. When you go to more automated, hey, I'm just going to let Amazon take care of everything. It's going to come at a cost. Okay, it's going to eat into your profits. But the beauty of it, or the benefit of that automation, is it's just kind of a, what they say, making money while you sleep. If it's not going to be like a ton of money, but you don't have to mess with it. You put your product up there on Amazon, and Amazon's going to post it on Amazon.com, and people can shop for it. And you don't have to worry about sending it out to your customers. You don't have to worry about it. The customer's unhappy and wants to send it back. Amazon's going to handle that for you as well. And so that's what you got to kind of start asking yourself is, do we want to have, somebody like Lulu or Amazon do the heavy lifting, or do we want to do more of the heavy lifting? And of course, with that heavy lifting, you will have some more profit.
So let's stay with the mantra. Let's keep it stinking easy.
Yep.
So let's keep it stinking easy. Says I would probably, from what I'm hearing you say, I would probably want to lean into Amazon and Lulu as much as possible, unless my business was growing like crazy and I had resources to be able to to pay somebody to manage that part of the business for me, so that I didn't have to be hands-on with it.
Yeah. So the next question there is, okay, hey, we're going to have Amazon do all that. We want to keep this thing stinking easy. But now we need to kind of, how are we going to let people know? All right. And so that could be as simple as, doing a YouTube review. Hey, here's a book I just did. And then in the comments, here's a link to the book on Amazon. Or this is where you start considering your platforms, and of course, YouTube, I guess technically is a platform. But as far as websites, and you're setting up a website, do I need something like Kajabi, where, you're going to be paying $149, $200 a month for, or could I do something like a simple WordPress page and I do say simple, that is, hey, my book, and mybook.com. Mm-hmm. And then you talk about it and you have a link to the book on Amazon that people can go and order. And so you can go high end with Kajabi, which is really, really overkill in this.
That would be overkill for selling. For selling.
And that's where you start with your light bulb, your idea, and then determine which platform makes the most sense. In this case, Kajabi doesn't make the most sense. WordPress, maybe.
Right. And with WordPress, you could, if you, let's say I want to collect, let's say part of my bare minimum, and this really should be a bare minimum for everybody. So I'm spitballing this out there, but really this should be a bare minimum for everybody. You want to have a way to be able to collect email addresses for some sort of a lead magnet, regardless of your business. And this is what I'm hearing in a lot of Donald Miller stuff too, is that it doesn't matter what your business is. You want to be able to give, if you're a plumbing business and you want to be drumming up customers, you might have a lead magnet that says top 10 things you need to do in the fall to close down your winter camp, right? Or something, so that you can collect information and you have people to market to. So you want to have people to market to. And especially if it's going to be something they're going to buy over and over, you definitely want to be able to remind them of that. And one of the cool things about as we think about systems, because we're going to get to a point where like the icon that we have is gears. And it's about, okay, how do we make all this stuff work? And that makes people's head explode, and that makes them give up on their business because they get frustrated. There's just too much to do and too little time. And so I just can't do this anymore. And so you drop your idea and you run away. And we don't want you to do that. MailChimp and other email platforms, email campaign platforms have the ability to give you your embed code for dropping your email collector on basically any website in the world.
Yep.
So you don't think about, or we shouldn't be thinking about, well, I've got to manage email and I've got to manage that and I've got to manage this. It's okay. Let's just take one piece at a time, right? What do you need in order to be able to sell your book? Well, you need to be able to way to collect money, and you need to have your book, and you need to be able to ship your book. So if that's somebody else doing all that for you, great. If that's like you're still going to have a promo page for this stuff so that you can point people to it, yeah, you're probably still going to need that, right?
Yep.
And a way to get emails and be able to drop links in them as reminders to go get the book. So I wanted to mention that because as we think about static websites, some people automatically think, well, I won't have a way to collect email, or I won't have an email system. Well, no, you can still go get that, and you can still get MailChimp for pretty cheap. So you'll still have a way to communicate to people.
Yep. MailChimp, MailerLite, Infusionsoft, I think, is what Donald Miller uses. He's got an actual Infusionsoft and Donald Miller, and we've mentioned Donald Miller a couple times now, folks. He's an author. He's written 3 books that I know of: Marketing Made Simple, Business Made Simple, and My Story Brand. And he's, Dana and I both have reading his books and going through to solidify our message. And it's really a way of making sure that you get yourself really focused on how you're going to help those people that are going to be your customers. But what we're talking about here with these email platforms, and why I brought up Infusionsoft, is you want to be able to let people know, hey, I've got a new book that I just put out, or hey, I just amended this book and here's the amendment. Or if you are a plumber, hey, I just added a new service, a new service for plunging your toilets out that you're having issues. We'll come out and do this once a month. And it could be a new membership service. Pay us X amount of dollars a month, and once a month we come out and go over your house and make sure all the plumbing's dialed in for you.
Yeah.
So
right. I mean, it could be anything. Now let's go back to let's bring another product to the table, because now we've talked about a little bit about the book kind of scenario, but not everybody out there is going to be writing a book, and we get that. Not all you entrepreneurs out there are thinking, oh, I'm going to go out and write a book, and that's going to be what I'm going to do, right? Because I wrote a book, but actually my book is a journal. It's like a very low content, and it was really easy to produce. So other physical products, there's one out there that probably stands head and shoulders above every other company as far as taking physical orders and shipping physical products. And I'm not sure if you're thinking of the same company I am, Sean, but there's one company, not Amazon, but there's one company that helps people do that, I think, probably better than anybody else.
Huh. I was thinking Amazon. I got a couple other ones, but they might not be the same ones. Alibaba came to mind.
This is actually a company you already mentioned.
I already mentioned Shopify. It, huh? Shopify. Okay. Well, yeah. Shopify is more of a platform.
Yes.
That you can use if you're selling a product. But yeah. So
they're big.
And they are company. Big. Yep.
Very big.
They're huge.
So that is another option. Like, you don't actually have to maintain the website. You're still going to have to build your pages and all that stuff, but you're not running it on your own servers. You're not doing any of your own. They've got the infrastructure and frameworks and everything to help you do that, and templates to help you get started as fast as possible.
They're going to make sure it's secure. All right. So one of the, when you're looking at the pros and cons of all these different platforms, again, we throw a lot of stuff at you. WordPress, you're going to be in charge of making sure your WordPress site is secure. You're going to have to make sure all those plugins are updated. And of course, when you do update those plugins, that they don't break something, because that can happen. Shopify, yeah, you pay a little bit, you're going to pay monthly for a Shopify site, but they're doing all the updates. They're making sure that if anything breaks, they fix it, not you. And they're hosting it. Where WordPress, you would have to, that's another thing that we could talk about on the call, you would have to go and host it. So Shopify is going to handle all that for you.
Yeah. So as you're thinking about your idea and you're vetting it out, and you're kind of putting, you're kind of putting some, I'm trying to, the word is like escaping me here. You're forming it. It's becoming physical, or it's becoming something that's not just this ethereal thing now, right? You've taken your idea, and now you're really kind of formulating what this is going to look like for you and your business. And that can be a crazy variety of things. And physical products that you're going to ship yourself. And if you're going to try and do that with your own website, Sean just brought up a very important point that you have to consider. And that is your method of receiving payment, and making sure that you continue to keep that method secure. And that is something that you should not take lightly, because if that goes awry, you could be on the hook for paying a lot of money back to people or back to whoever that payment gateway or whatever is that you're using, and you just want to avoid doing that. I would say, from my standpoint, Sean, I don't know if you agree or not on this. Well, I'm just going to say, from my standpoint, I don't know that I want to put that in WordPress, the payment system, just because
Yeah.
WordPress and PHP, man, and over time they've had a lot of vulnerabilities. I'm not sure how comfortable I would be doing that and being able to walk away from it for months at a time, saying, "Oh, I know my stuff is secure."
Now, what I'm thinking with WordPress though is using, and you hinted at this a minute ago or kind of mentioned it, and that is a payment processor. And so you can take Stripe, which is is a payment processor, PayPal's a payment processor, um, and they've got plugins. We were talking about using email plugins. You can take MailChimp and it'll plug into any website you have. It's the same thing with Stripe. If you set up a Stripe account, which is a payment processor, you can plug that into a WordPress site.
Right.
So are you still kind of saying that you would lean
Well,
away
I don't
from that?
know. I don't know. I guess because if it's Stripe as the payment processor is plugged into to WordPress, it probably is very secure, because Stripe is very keen on the security aspects. And if it's using that as a tool inside, then I guess that probably is okay. I just get weary, I think, for me, because I know PHP and WordPress they have been hammered over time. I've seen stuff get attacked and taken down, and your immediate concern becomes, oh my goodness, I wonder if all my payments are okay.
Yep, yep. And and it's still a huge target. I mean, that's why it's so important that you go and you check your plugins, if not weekly, daily, and make sure those are updated consistently. And I've got WordPress sites that I manage that if I don't go in and check them, at least once a week, I mean, there's plugins that need to be updated every single week.
Yeah.
And that is where people who are, what's the word I'm looking for, nefarious, or
Yeah.
who are going to attack
Yeah.
sites, they're looking for those plugins that haven't been updated.
When it comes to payment gateways and all of that stuff, I want to make sure that I'm not in the middle of any of that. Somebody else is maintaining that. And look, I've been in tech for over 25 years. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be the guy on the hook when it comes down to, and unless you're really savvy that way and really enjoy it, in order to keep your business stinking easy so that you're going to be able to be more hands off and have more freedom, then are you going to want to be the one that every so many days has to make sure that all of those plugins are updated and all of that stuff? I don't know. I'm not going to answer that question for you, obviously, because maybe for you that is super easy and you just want to do it yourself anyway.
And for those that are listening, there are ways to set up your plugins to be updated automatically. You can set up WordPress to say just update these automatically. It's just you could be playing with fire. I do know people that's all they do with all their WordPress sites. But you do have to be very cautious that, if they're set to automatically update, that those updates aren't breaking something.
Okay, so WordPress, that we've kind of like batted that one around quite a bit. So WordPress, if you're going to have just a basic page, maybe a book page, maybe that book page is going to have a sales page in it as well for people to be able to buy it, so you can take an order and do all of that. You can do all of that, and there's WooCommerce integrations and all sorts of different things that you can integrate into WordPress to allow you to sell physical product on a WordPress page. That part, as long as you can get a good, reliable WordPress hosting, it's really not that hard to get that kind of configured and set up. It actually is quite easy. So let's set that one aside for a minute, and or forever. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if we'll come back to WordPress. It might come back up in future.
It might. I imagine it will.
Okay, so let's take a break. We'll come back from the break. Let's talk a little bit more about these. There's some people out there that call the three of these go together, and they believe that if you can get these three together, it's really strong, and that is courses, community, and coaching, online communities and coaching, courses, online communities and coaching. And whether or not you believe that that's a power play in those three doesn't really matter. We're going to talk about some platforms that are good for those three items. So be
Beautiful.
right back. Sean and I would like to invite you to say goodbye to spending countless hours and countless dollars in trying to launch your business. Personally, I've spent over $20,000 on 2 ideas trying to get them launched with companies that promised to help me all along the way, only to find that things were very complicated, they were guessing, and neither of them truly helped me launch my business. Sean and I discovered that there are very easy tools, very easy ways for you to get your business launched. And we invite you to take part of that. Join us on this adventure. Go to zerotoincome.com to learn more. ZERO, the number 2, income.com, and learn more. All right, and we're back. And we're talking now about the triple threat of digital content, and that is courses, communities, and coaching, which there are a lot of sites out there that focus on helping you build businesses around those 3 things. We've both been involved with Flip Lifestyle.
Yep.
And you're a big advocate of Pat Flynn's stuff. Pat Flynn, how much does Pat Flynn get into this?
Pat Flynn gets into this stuff probably quite a bit. I mean, he has, similar to Flip Lifestyle folks, Flip Lifestyle has a whole community that you can sign up for, a monthly membership. Pat Flynn has what he calls an all access pass. And it's going to be very similar. He's going to have a community as well as access to all of his courses. I think he's got like 10 courses that the all access pass gives you.
And there's others. There's others. There's
Donald Miller.
Donald Miller's got stuff around this. So you can go online and you can start searching for stuff with like course content, and probably there's going to at least be some community expert ownership. I've been involved in that with the Benham brothers, and that's, they've got courses. They also have community. Their communities, excuse me, in Facebook, but they do have a community aspect to what they're doing, and they do offer coaching, business coaching, and it's pricey, and really, anybody who's going to offer you really good one-to-one coaching, it's going to be expensive, people. Just know that. One-to-one coaching, and it should be, because if somebody's really coming to the table with a lot of experience and can help you go the extra mile and really deliver on the coaching promises, then yeah, it's going to be pricey.
It's going to be pricey.
Yeah. Because you're paying for somebody's. If somebody wants me to coach them into IT, it's not going to be cheap, because I'm going to be able to shorten your time frame getting into IT, and I'm going to help you learn from all sorts of different things that I've learned, and teach you shortcuts and tricks and everything that nobody else is going to teach you, that you're not going to learn in the school, and all of that, right? So it's not going to be cheap.
Yeah.
So yeah. Courses, communities, and coaching, the triple threat here. And there are a lot of different platforms. Sean, can you kind of give us a high level across some of this that you've seen? Like, you've got Podia, System, Kajabi. What else am I missing here?
Yeah,
Clixo.
Yeah, Clixo, although I've seen a couple of sites, worked on a couple of sites for people there, they've been mostly referrals, so people that know other people that are using Clixo. It's not real popular, and honestly, the what's the room looking at here? I don't know how much I'd jump into doing something on Clixo yet. I think it's one of those things you want to see. Just, it's so new. Is this going to be something that's going to be around for a while? When you want to look at for this type of stuff for your business, I think it's important to look at things that have some stability and have some legs under them. That a foundation, and some of the ones that come to mind, you've already mentioned. The Kajabi, it's been around for a while. It's not going anywhere. Podia's, oh boy, they're making all kinds of changes right now too. I'm getting emails from Podia all the time. We just implemented this. I mean, it's crazy. System. I'm pretty sure System is relatively new, but we're confident enough with System that we're impressed by what we see with System.
We're using it. That's
Yep.
what Sean and I are using with Zero to Income. We're using System,
Yep.
and I like it.
I do
I
too.
like it.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful. It's amazing what it can do right out of the box, especially when you're doing some minimum viable products. Is this thing going to work or not? When you're testing stuff out, because it allows you to utilize the system. They've got a free plan that's a pretty robust plan. You know, you can have up to 2,000 subscribers in your email list, which is, compared that to like Podia's free plan, which is also Podia's got a great setup, but they only allow you 100 subscribers on the free plan. So, but those are the main players. I mean, we've mentioned Circle.so was the proper website address for Circle, and it's not Circles, it's Circle .so. Dana mentioned Teachable earlier. They've got a whole site.
Yeah, I'm not sure Teachable with their with the community aspect. I'm not sure about that aspect of what they do. And look, there's others. There's a lot of learning management systems out there, and you basically go on and upload your video, and you can put your, if you've got worksheets or attachments or anything like that that you want to add to the modules as you go along, you just add it. That's going to be assumed across any of these that we're talking about, that they're going to be able to do that. I will say that when you think about what you're going to go with, you really got to think about what's your deliverable, right? What's in the box that you're asking people to pay for, right? And if you think that, I'm never really going to have what I'm doing is going to be maybe coaching and a course, but I'm never going to have a community. It's just too much work to try and hassle to try and maintain a community and to do community calls and all that stuff. You know what? I'm all out on that, and I don't want to make complexity part of my model. And I just think that's going to be too complicated, and I just have no interest in doing it. Okay.
Yep.
So completely a no-go for community.
Well, I'm smiling right now because you're reading my mind, because I have clients I work with who it's like, Sean, I only do coaching. I'm not going to do courses. I'm not doing community. It's just coaching. And I've got other people who are like, no, I just want a course, and I'm not going to really even worry about a community, and I'm not going to even worry about coaching, And so some things, it might not make sense to use something like Kajabi if you're only going to use one of those, where Kajabi allows you to do all three.
And let's say you decided you wanted to do coaching, but the coaching in the platform you're in is like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's not the greatest. There are plugin options that allow you to schedule. Calendly is one of them. And there's other plugin options that are out there. And so if you sell somebody a session, you can maybe give them a Calendly. I don't know how Calendly works. If you can like set it up so like somebody can schedule like a 1-hour session or a 30-minute session or whatever, right? So I'm going to give them one time slot, and they're going to be able to book it, and they're going to be able to book it based off my availability. And maybe you give them the link after they purchase, right? That's part of the response. The thank you it's got a link in it that's got the, thank you for purchasing a 1-hour session, and boom, there you go.
Yep.
So there's ways to get around some of that. And coaching, I would say, is probably the most flexible one to get around, because there's other options, and you don't have to rely on the platform to do the coaching one-on-one, right?
Yep.
So that leaves courses and communities. And from your experience and my experience, I think we can probably come up with, I would say from my standpoint, I really like the way the communities work inside Kajabi. I think it's easy to set them up.
Yeah.
That now, I want to be clear, I'm not necessarily a Kajabi promoter. I think their price is high. So let me just put that out there. And I'm not doing much with communities on the IT Path site. So
an IT Path is on Kajabi.
And it's on Kajabi, and I'm actually looking to move it off and kill my Kajabi subscription. Right now, I'm paying $200 a month, and I'm not really getting much for it on IT Path. So it's like, why am I paying this money out? And again, I hope that you understand, all you wannabe or wannapreneurs right out there, I hope you understand, and I hope that resonates with you, because neither Sean or I are advocates of go spend money on something that's not actually giving you a return. And just like we talked about last week, if I'm training to run a 50 miler, I want outcome from my training. And if my training is not providing an outcome, then I start to question, well, why am I doing what I'm doing? And that
Yeah.
brought me to the point where I'm at right now, where I'm like paying $200 a month for Kajabi. And I'm like, okay, why am I doing this? Because a bunch of other people said, oh, you've got to be on Kajabi. No, I don't have to be on Kajabi. And actually, I'm pretty much, I'm locked in on system. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty dang good. I like it. So in your world, Sean, have you messed around with the community aspects much on any of the platforms?
I've played around with a little bit with Kajabi, not as much as Podia. Now, my site, the Membership Answer Man, we each have other sites that we use for experimentation for other side businesses, but we both prefer system for zero to income. But as far as Podia is concerned, their membership also is stupid easy to use. Is it as feature rich as, say, like a Facebook? No. It's not super robust. It's a little bit harder to like pop in a YouTube video. I could pop in a link that people can open up and watch, but to take an actual embed code to where they could see the actual video in a post, that's not really working so good in Podia, which is not a big deal. It's not like a game changer. But as far as keeping things stinking easy, I mean, it's almost like the community feature in Podia it almost like happens on its own. It's like you click on it, it's like you've got a new community, and just like that, and you can start posting. So
Template wise, though, it's a little bit more limited, I think.
It's going to be very limited on what you can do as far as templates and as far as customizing it. It's not like you can go in there and say, hey, I mean, they're actually out there. There are free community platforms out there. I can't remember now which one I was playing with that full on lets you change the colors and templates and everything in it, all for free. It was pretty impressive. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name of that, but Podia, you've got kind of a compromise between being stinking easy and the features that are available. But it's still for something where you're wanting to test your idea. You've got your light bulb, you've got an idea. Let's just see if this has legs. It's a great way to test something out.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. And Sean and I think, well, let's take a few minutes and then we'll kind of have to close out. We're already at like 39 minutes, man, or almost. It's been more than that because I hit I like to do the stopwatch during to see how long we're going, and I hit it a couple minutes late, so I'm not sure exactly how long it's been. But I do want to take a few minutes and talk about a system itself, because it seems that what we're finding in system stands out from the crowd. And I do want to clarify something. I'm not a Kajabi, throw Kajabi under the bus person. So
yeah, me neither.
The right tool for the right, and if you think, and if you've already got, it's already paying for itself and all of that, and you're like, it's $200 a month, or I'm going to pay for the whatever it is, $399, and I'm going to get 3 sites on it, and all of that, and you've already got the money, and that's already happening, then hey, go for it.
And there's features in Kajabi I really like. I mean, they've got some pretty nice features to make your website really snap that Podia doesn't have, and it's impressive. All right.
Yeah. Scrolling, the way that the images scroll, and they kind of like, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but they kind of like slide as they,
you can have them slide in. You kind of slide in from the left, slide in from the right, you can have them pop up from the bottom. Yeah, animations. Podia doesn't have that. And I'll tell you what, it's nice for your visitor when they're scrolling down to see these images and these sections of your website just kind of animate in, just kind of roll in.
And I think that's smooth experience. That's where you're paying. That's where you're paying for that extra dollars are going to some really sweet features like that. As far as keeping it stinking easy and getting out the gate and testing your product, I think it's overkill. In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're like a total girl, what is a geek? I don't know what is it. And total, I don't know.
If you're a total
No
girl
offense
geek.
to lady entrepreneurs out there. I don't know what. If you're a total geek and that's your thing, and you want to get into all of the nitty gritty of exactly how your page looks and scrolls and all of that stuff, then Kajabi is pretty sweet. Now, if you're like us, and you're thinking, okay, economy is king here. Let's figure out how to get this thing rolling with as little effort as possible and on as cheap dollar as possible. Then System is a pretty good option, and they have a free side, which allows you to do like I forget how many funnels, 3 funnels, and a funnel is a page, by the way. And I think we're going to have to dive into this a little bit, Sean,
Yeah.
because for both of us, like I felt like when I started to get into System, my world turned upside down because I started to think about visitors to the page as being as going through a funnel,
Mhm.
where so this is different. This is a different way of thinking, and it's probably more System is probably more aligned with like a ClickFunnels way of thinking about your page.
Mhm.
And I know that before we started recording today, we were also talking about, campaigns, funnels, pages, all of that stuff. Can you kind of like walk us through, your impression of some of that, and what you like, don't like, whatever about System? And then, by the way, it's SYSTEME.io. It's not SYSTEM.io. It's got
Yeah.
by the way.
So yeah, I used to pronounce it Systeme. It's System though. It's got an extra e at the end. System, SYSTEME.io. And yeah, no, I don't. You talk about as far as drawbacks for System that I've noticed. I haven't yet. I mean, like you say, they've got multiple funnels that you're allowed to have that come in with the plans. Multiple steps in those funnels. I mean, it's really impressive. Again, the 2,000 subscriber limit is very generous for a starter plan. So I haven't, as of yet, ran into anything where I'm like, this is causing me a headache.
Yeah.
It's stinking easy.
Yeah. And so think about, like, normally on a lot of other sites, even Kajabi calls it a page. And you have to think about it different though, because I think you're going to find, like, as you think about building a page in System, you're really thinking about building a funnel. And a funnel is a set of information. It's not just a web page. A funnel is a web page, an email collector, and a way that you're going to communicate to these people to deliver them some sort of value to try to get them into the next stage of the process. And in Donald Miller's stuff, it seems like this really aligns well, because you're thinking. I'm not saying Kajabi and all of them can't do this, because that they totally can, but it gets your thinking wired that way from the start. When you start using System, you start thinking about it like a funnel, and how am I going to get them to the next step? And their automations are the same way. They're driving you to get to the next step. Now, a email campaign and a funnel and a website are not the same thing.
No, they kind of interrelate. A website's kind of part of a funnel, but not necessarily. And so there's little intricacies. Emails are kind of part of a funnel, but emails in and of themselves, a campaign is not necessarily a funnel, but a funnel can contain a campaign. And it,
funnel is going to contain some way for people to interact with the information. If that is a website, then yeah, but it can't be an email by itself, because you haven't collected the email yet. How do you have the email? Yep. You just grabbed it out of the air. You bought it from a list. I mean, which don't do that, by the way.
No.
Get real, people. Don't pay for anybody to generate your email list for you. You're just going to end up paying for a lot of garbage. So real, authentic, organic emails is the way to go. Now, YouTube, even a YouTube video could be part of a funnel because you're actually going to use that as something that's going to drive them into the next step. See, a lot of times if we just think about YouTube videos as being a YouTube, it's just a YouTube video. I didn't add any links or anything to my YouTube video because it's just a video. I don't really care, right? Well, you're missing opportunity though too, because that can actually be something that helps drive people back to a website, drives them into a lead magnet. You collect an email address and you've delivered something of value to them. And now they're engaging on the next level. The introductory phase is, that's happened. And now they're going to start to engage on a little deeper level. They're going to build a relationship with you. When they build a relationship, relationships are emotional. And then you're driving. If you continue to bring them value, Donald Miller puts it like, what is he say? Will you marry me? I can't remember what he says, or will you go out with me? It's the website is kind of like, will you go out? Do you remember this from the?
Yeah. Donald Miller uses these analogies to marriage and dating quite a bit. All right. Now, when you meet somebody for the very first time, they come to you to watch your YouTube channel. Are you immediately going to say, "Hey, marry me"? No, it's going to be more or less, "Hey, I'd like to take you out on a date." And so they can kind of get to know you. You have to build a relationship with somebody first, and then eventually you can get to a point where, "Hey, will you marry me?" And so part of the funnel is, hey, they're watching your YouTube video, and then they go down and, do you want to go on a date? And that would be check out, click on this link and get a free resource guide for your business. And when they do that, they give you your email address, and then you respond, "Hey, thanks for, checking out my guide. Here's a bonus item. Here's a list of the top links that I use in my business for websites that I use." And then you send out another email, and you're building this relationship. You're never, along the way, you're always giving them the opportunity to marry you if you want. You still can say, "Hey, thank you for signing up for my guide. By the way, if you want to get married, i.e., if you'd like to join my coaching program or you'd like to join my course, here's that link." But you always make sure that you're taking things nice and slow at the same time. Some people might want to, to just jump into marriage. Maybe they like to live on the edge. But most of the time, you're going to be dating and building that relationship and letting people get to know you and trust you and learn that you have valuable information to share with them that's going to help them, that's going to relieve stress in their life, that's going to help give them answers to questions as far as, "Hey, I spent a bunch of money on these other courses and I got zip." You're going to help them not get zip. You're going to help them go from zero to income. But that's not something that just happens immediately, and they're not going to believe you immediately. And so you build that course and you build that relationship, and that's what the funnel's doing for you.
Yeah. I like it. Full disclosure, because and Kajabi does this as well. Kajabi has an affiliate program, and System has an affiliate program. And so the link that you'll see is an affiliate link. I'm throwing that out there. But look, don't go and get your platform now. Just vet that idea out. Think through the idea. Make sure you've got that nailed down, all the way down to your messaging. And to get started with that, go back and listen to the first podcast episode. We talk about kind of fleshing out your idea. Also, you should get My Story Brand by Donald Miller. And look, we're not making any money off of that, right? We're just putting it out there. My Story Brand by Donald Miller. That is going to help you as you think about your idea. And you're going to be able to go to mystorybrand.com, and that's going to give you the framework that he talks about in the book. And you can work through those 7 areas that he talks about in the book. It's so super easy, and it is low hanging fruit, and it is going to help you unlock your mind and just think about the branding aspect of your product, your idea. Does it work? And all of that. We have tools that we're working on Zero to Income to help make and man, I'm tripping all over my words, to help make the path as short as possible for you to be able to do the research aspects of your business. Because and you're going to find, if you're in any of these programs out there, all of them under the sun, it doesn't matter which one, it seems like the amount of effort that is required to do your research on the avatar, the person that you're selling to, is just eats up so much time and energy. So don't worry, don't worry. Just start thinking about your product and thinking about the people that you want to serve, and don't get all caught up into, oh, I got this hours and hours and hours, and I don't know how to research this. Just breathe. It's stinking easy.
Take
And
a
if I
deep
could show you
breath.
one of these tools right now, it'd blow your mind. We have a
Yep.
tool that allows you to search by topic on YouTube, and it aggregates the top comments from multiple different videos all at the same time. And it gives you a breakdown of the sentiment. It's just a crazy awesome tool. And I wish I had it back when I started IT Path. It would have made my research so much easier, because I spent so much time aggregating comments and trying to figure out what people were thinking. And this does it for you.
Now, to clarify this a little bit, to take this and make it a little bit more clear, what do you use these comments for? You use these comments to figure out what are these people struggling with. So he talked about the sentiment. What's the general sentiment of these comments? Okay, so you really want to use this tool to figure out what are my, the people that I want to serve, what's hurting them, what's causing them, what's keeping them up at night. And this tool is going to help identify that. Part of my story brand really is, it helps you figure out, how am I going to best help those that choose to come along and invite me into their journey in their business, in their adventure, as they, become, go from entrepreneur to entrepreneur, and so this tool is just a great asset to make it a lot more simple to figure out what are people struggling with. And that's going to be huge for anybody that uses this tool.
Yeah, and we want to be here on the journey with you and helping you and bringing the right tools to the table for you. And we want to be open, and we want to have a listening ear so that you can say, you know what, I'm stuck here. All right, hold on a second. Let's regroup. Let's see if we can figure out how to help you solve your problem and keep you unstuck and keep you moving. And it's the same kind of philosophy I have at IT Path. Keep you unstuck and keep you moving on your IT journey. Well, we're kind of doing the same thing here, but really, we want to keep this all stinking easy so that you can get your business rolling as fast as possible with as little time investment, as little monetary investment, and with as little energy as possible. Because guess what? If you start building your business now and you're spending a lot of time, energy, and effort and money to do this, the chances are you're building that as a trend in your life, and you're going to continue to spend a lot of time, money, and energy. And it's all going to be this muddied water. Like, you don't know how to separate and sift that out now. So let's go easy. Let's build from easy. And then as you work yourself out of your existing job or whatever, you want to spend more time and energy on it, then you can. We realize
Absolutely.
that people got families. You got to be able to live. And if I worked for the next 2 years and I said, Angela, I'm sorry, I'm too busy to do things with the family for the next couple of years, because guess what? I'm launching IT Path, and I don't care how much time and energy it takes to get it off the ground. I'm going to do it. And you're going to see the fruit of it later. Well, maybe the fruit comes and maybe the fruit doesn't come. But one thing I have done is I've burned 2 years of my family.
Yep.
It's so important to have right balance.
And so, yeah, you want to be able to find resources and tools that are going to make it so that your job is a lot easier to go out and help others. If you're a coach, our goal is to help you help your clients and do that in as efficient way as possible. If you're selling a specific product to somebody who has a need, maybe, I'm going to just throw this out. Maybe they have some kind of skin disease and you have a specialized clothing for them. Our job is to help you figure out a way to get that to as many people as you possibly can, to help as many people as you possibly can. We need to help you serve. And that's what Zero to Income is all about, and to make it stinking easy.
Amen, brother. I love it. All right. Well, we're going to sign off. We're at the 1 hour mark here, I'm sure. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you come back next week. Please share this. Please share it with anybody that you know that is into business, that is an entrepreneur or a wantrepreneur or a solopreneur or whatever stage you're working at. We would love to hear from you, and we would love to have topic ideas. You can reach us, Dana at 2income.com and Sean at 2income.com, SEAN for Sean.
Mm-hmm.
And we would love to hear from you guys.
And for those that have if we've piqued your curiosity about that tool, if you'd like to go to 2income.com, you can go there and you can sign up for that tool.
Yeah, get on the mailing list, and we're working on stuff all the time, and getting new tools out there, and automated tools. Make it easy. Everything from email communication to figuring out your idea to figuring out how to launch your platform. Everything. We're trying to figure it all out to make it fit best for you. You are who we want to serve.
Amen.
All right, we got to sign off. Thanks, Sean. It's been
Take
a good
care,
one.
everybody.
All right, see ya. On behalf of Sean Elliott and myself, Dana Morrison, we'd like to say thank you sincerely for listening to this episode. We hope that it helps you on your entrepreneurial journey. Truly, thank you for being here. If you would like to learn more about Zero to Income and be informed as tools and resources are released, we hope that you will take the time to get on the mailing list. Just go to 02income.com, ZERO, the number 2, income.com, and get on the mailing list to be informed as tools and resources are released. If you like this episode, we hope that you will like it, review it, share it with those around you that are entrepreneurial minded. Thank you so much for being here.